Good morning everybody, my name is Crystal. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's a lovely warm Saturday morning. My name is Crystal. It's unbelievable the lengths some people will go to just to get a reaction out of somebody that isn't well, someone that's disabled, someone that is on their own and has no witnesses, right? And that's why they do it. That's why gang stalkers gang up on somebody on their own, because they know that person has got no witnesses, and they just terrorize somebody just for the pure hell of it. I've been trying to get out of this flat for the past, well, I've been on the Midway Home Choice list for since 2023, but I've been trying to get out of this flat since this guy above moved in. It's been nothing but a nuisance and a pest, trying to destroy my peace. Why? I haven't got a hell on earth clue why. So until I move, until people take me seriously, and this is not a joke, this is seriously affecting my health, my mental health especially, until people take me seriously and stop lying to me, sending people round to my flat saying they're going to help me, and this idiot's behaviour upstairs is getting worse, then I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to get cross. I'm not going to get angry. I'm just going to ignore it. But I'm going to tell you what's going on. And this is absolutely ridiculous. The mind of a flea. You can't keep going on and on and on at somebody, taking the mickey out of them and thinking that's okay. It isn't. No, enough is enough. It's a bloody weekend. Said enough is enough. I've had enough of it. I'm not going out this weekend. Everybody knows that my benefits have been stopped. Do you think it's funny what you're doing? Do you all think it's funny? Should be ashamed of yourselves, the people that's doing this to me. Right, Saturday morning. Yes, people out there have to go to work. Some people get up early. Some people are ill. Some people have serious illnesses and they want to rest in their bed. Some people, get up early, go to the gym. I'm 56 years old. I have chronic pain issues. Loud noises hurt my ears. So what does this idiot do? What does he do this morning? Now his car isn't parked outside my flat. No, it's parked opposite a large woman's flat. I would say she's about 400 pounds. So his vehicle is parked outside the flats with the lady with the short ginger hair, because I had short ginger hair before the Queen passed away. I had my hair cut at Kelly's in Chatham High Street, and I had it cut short, and then I dyed it ginger, right? There's a woman down there of nearly, what I'd say, 75, with ginger hair and glasses, and she's got she wears a backpack and a long blue puffer coat, and she goes into Strood like I do. I saw her in Marks and Spencer's a couple of years back. I was sat in Marks and Spencer's on my own having a cup of coffee, and she walked into the cafe. Right, so I know who she is. Well, listen to this. This is his next way of trying to rub me up the wrong way, upset me and cause a commotion. He's got his kids up there this weekend, and I've just been getting on with my life. Last night I watched the telly, watched films, ignored the stomping, and just carried on with my life and ignored it. This guy thrives on my misery. He loves it. He loves me getting cross and angry, and so I don't. So I went to bed. They got fed up. They got fed up because whatever they did, I just didn't react to it. So they got fed up. Harry, and I went to bed last night with earplugs in my ears anyway. I don't fucking hear it. So, obviously at the weekend, he's got his kids this weekend. So he's not going to work. There's no need to set alarms off, is there? He's not going to work. You tell me it's not orchestrated, because he's parked outside the ginger-haired woman's flat. He's parked opposite a really large woman, a really big woman, right? 6:20 this morning. I heard it. I had 6:20 Saturday morning. His alarm goes off opposite the large lady. The massive large woman. 6:20. I hear it, and I stay in my bed until 8:10. I can hear him going across where I'm sleeping with his heavy feet, because he's a large big bloke himself. So he's walking across the ceiling, going across to the window and turning his car alarm off. Are you telling me that his car alarm is just going off randomly and he's not doing it himself? 6:20. Then, when there's no reaction out of me, they're doing it on purpose. I'm being terrorised in my own home. They stomp so hard in the ceiling, my bedroom ceiling starts moving. One of them bangs their feet so hard, the ceiling is moving. It upsets my dog. He jumps off the sofa and goes to see what it is. So 6:20 this morning, I will not be controlled and manipulated by an idiot, absolute brainless moron. You're telling me it's not orchestrated? Do I look £400? Do I look like one of these women of you know, the TV set where they're sat on the sofa with folds of fat coming across their knees? Do I? It's taken the piss to make me cross. That's all it's done for. And I'm not going out to the shop. I told that woman in the co-op that I was having trouble with the noise upstairs, and she started to turn nasty and spiteful and wind me up on the days that he was upstairs with his kids. So I don't speak to that woman. I don't go in the co-op when she's in there. When I have gone in there, I don't speak to her. I turn the other way. I don't want to get involved. They're all bitches. They're all backstabbers. This is what happens when you try to make friends sometimes with other women. They backstab and are bitchy. And they start telling lies behind your back and spreading rumours. I'm protecting myself until someone actually helps me and stops lying to my face, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not being exploited for free. I'm not being sexually abused anymore. You know, men just using me for sex, so you can forget that as well. So until you start waking up and realising I'm not your fucking puppet, asshole, I'm not going anywhere. Alexa, good morning.
Good morning. On this day in 1994, the first free multiracial elections in South Africa began. Over 22 million people voted, and Nelson Mandela was declared the winner. He served one term, bringing about huge changes, not least beginning the process of dismantling apartheid.
Alexa, what's the time, please?
Good morning, Crystal. The time is 8:28 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
It's Saturday the 26th of April.
Alexa, what's the weather outlook?
Right now in Rochester, it's 11 degrees Celsius with mostly cloudy skies. Throughout the day, you can expect more of the same, with a high of 17 degrees and a low of 7 degrees.
Alexa, can you tell me a joke?
What kind of music do wind turbines listen to? They're big metal fans.
Alexa, who was born on this day?
Celebrities born on the 26th of April include Melania Trump, Giancarlo Esposito, Channing Tatum, Kane, and Rudolph Hess.
Alexa, who's Channing Tatum?
Channing Matthew Tatum is an American actor and producer.
Alexa, how old is Channing Tatum?
Channing Tatum is 45 years old.
We're all getting older. He was in Magic Mike, the film Magic Mike. Going way back to 2014, 15. American Pie films and all that. And, you know, we're all getting older. He's 45 now. He was a heartthrob years ago. Channing Tatum. These people need to seriously grow up before they get old and drop off. They're so stupid. I have got food. I had a Sainsbury's delivery on Thursday. I had a Co-op small delivery on Thursday. If I need food, I can get some more food. I am trying to keep fit and lose weight. So I'm using a cordless skipping rope. I'm lifting women's weights because I'm a woman. I am exercising in my flat and trying to get the weight off. When people make me miserable and pick on me, I start eating. And so do a lot of other women. So it defeats the fucking object, picking on a woman's weight. It makes you you just want to eat more because it makes you fucking miserable. People bullying and trolling. It defeats the object. You're calling someone fat, you're calling someone this, and then they go and eat more, you silly dickheads. If you encourage people nicely and help them instead of being vicious, stupid, and absolutely ugly behaviour, some people are large because they have medical conditions. Some people are large, just naturally large, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's their genetics. Why don't you stick your nose up your own backside and see sense? Rather than sticking your nose into people's business you know nothing about. Morons! Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Dufresne, who accused Prince Andrew of sexual assault, has died. Her family say she took her own life. The Duke of York has repeatedly denied the allegations. President Trump says Russia and Ukraine are very close to a peace deal. It comes after the US Special Envoy met with Vladimir Putin at the Kremlin yesterday. And a 17-year-old boy has been sentenced to a minimum of 15 years in jail for the murder of a teenager in North London. Deshaun James Tuitt was killed in Islington in August 2022. LBC weather: dry in Northern Ireland, drizzle with sunny patches elsewhere, a high of 18 degrees.
This is LBC.
Looking to electrify your business? There couldn't be a better time with Renault Vans, award-winning e-tech electric van.
So I'm not sure if that's right, but that woman who made charges against Prince Andrew has killed herself. Well, I wonder how Prince Andrew feels about that. Always the victim, isn't it? Always the victim. Perpetrators hold their head up high when they've committed atrocious crimes, and you have to say alleged crimes, and because, I mean, we the public don't know what is true and what isn't. The newspapers are full of absolute bullshit and lies and made up cobblers, and so, you know, people tell lies, so we the public don't actually know the real truth. But if she has committed suicide because of what was done to her, it's absolutely atrocious and disgusting. Can't get any worse, can it? Really? So I'm going to put the Alexa back on in a minute. I don't want all the crappy adverts advertising pure cremations, teeth that I will never get. Never bothered to fix my fucking teeth and laugh at them. They can all piss off. All of them. So it's a sad day if that woman has committed suicide. Alexa, who has died today?
I don't know of any celebrities who died on that date.
I don't know what her name is. The woman that made charges against Prince Andrew for sex offences. Alexa, who is the woman that made charges against Prince Andrew? Alexa, who is the lady who made charges against Prince Andrew? No. You've got to remember that Alexa is a government thing. It's a government... they say that Alexa can actually watch you wherever your Alexa is. So I wouldn't trust Alexa too much. Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Representative Solicitor Hodge, Jones and Allen, and as I was aware, was fully in support of this inquiry, what it was looking into, and recognising by setting it up as a statutory inquiry that there are huge failings, not just in Essex actually, but certainly in Essex. So that has confused me, and I just really wanted to urge anyone listening and really urge your LBC and journalists to cover this inquiry and to not let any failings be buried, if that makes sense.
The tragedy is, Louise, is I am journalistic of the view that one way of diminishing public interest in an issue is to put it in a public inquiry, which then rambles on. It only gets limited newspaper coverage. And look what's happened with the COVID inquiry. I mean, it gets such scant coverage of the biggest things happened to this country since World War II. It's amazing. Just going back to Wes Streeting, I'm mindful of the fact that you're slightly nervous. You're not the first person to have told me of Wes Streeting's sort of positive attitude towards mental health.
Right.
What's changed, Louise? Can you rationalise why he now appears to be blaming the mentally ill for their health?
To be honest, I think it goes back to your expert 5 points. They need to deal with themselves. They need to put in place all the things that your experts have talked about. There's such huge failings, and they're just catastrophic for everybody involved in these organisations.
Louise, pleasure to be speaking to you again. My condolences. It's such a terrible thing to go through. Such a terrible, terrible thing. I appreciate you picking up the phone. Gosh, I do find these difficult. I do apologise, everyone. Now then, more of your thoughts in just a moment, but forgive me if I take a small diversion while I emotionally recover and talk about shoplifting for a little while. It's not really a cause for celebration, in fact, far from it, but the number of shoplifting offences recorded by police in England and Wales has reached its highest level on record, according to official figures, passing 500,000 offences for the first time last year, 516,971 shoplifting offences recorded last year, which is a 20% increase on the year before, 2023. Now, I'll give you that piece of information, and then I look at some of the thoughts of the industry body, the British Retail Consortium. They reckon that this is a massive underestimation of the actual number of shoplifting incidents that take place. The BRC reckons something like 20 million shoplifting incidents every year that have cost retailers more than £2.2 billion every year and causing them to spend nearly the same on anti-crime measures. So, are the police on top of this? Is this a cause for celebration or concern that the number of offences, actual shoplifting offences recorded has passed 500,000 mark? Well, I'm joined by Paddy Lillis, General Secretary of the Retail Trade Union Usdaw. Good morning to you, Paddy.
Good morning.
I mean, it's a massive discrepancy from 500,000 offences to 20 million incidents.
Well, I actually agree with the BRC, the British Retail Consortium. This is an underestimate, and we have called for years for staff to report every incident. And of course, people don't report them because they don't think anything's going to be done about it, and they feel they're just forgotten. I mean, this is disgusting behaviour. Not only in terms of the shoplifting, I think does a disservice to it, and it demeans what's actually happening. It's robbery with violence. That's what it is at the end of the day, robbery with violence. These criminals are going in with weapons, terrorising the staff, assaulting the staff, fear and anxiety into them and customers alike. And these are people who live in the community, work in the community, serve the community. And they shouldn't have to be putting up with this sort of behaviour. And of course, it's not a victimless crime, Matthew. As the BRC has said, £2.2 billion in lost goods last year. Again, probably an underestimate. But another £2 billion in additional security measures. You're talking £4.5 to £5 billion. That's added on to customers at the end of the day. We all pay for it. But I'm more concerned, as the General Secretary of the Retail Union, I'm more concerned with the staff's health and well-being, the number of verbal assaults, the abuse, the threats, and of course the actual assaults themselves is up about 14 or 15% of staff are assaulted. 13 to 1,400 incidents a day of staff being abused.
You see, I think of that. I think of the enormous mental anxiety and stress that would accompany such violence or intimidation. And then I think, Paddy, about this overarching conversation I have at the moment, where we've got both the Labour's Health Secretary and Nigel Farage both apparently blaming the mentally ill for being mentally ill, whereas I think you just described scenarios where you could easily see people suffering from stress and anxiety as a result of violence in the workplace. Paddy Lillis from Usdaw, thank you very much for joining us. Now then, as you will have been hearing through LBC News this morning, the woman who received £12 million from Prince Andrew, who claimed he never actually met her, Victoria Giuffre, has died. I'm joined by Bryony Williams, LBC's reporter, who's going to tell us more. Morning, Bryony.
Yes, as you mentioned, Virginia Giuffre is most well known for accusing Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein of sexual abuse. She alleged she was trafficked to the Duke of York when she was 17, which Prince Andrew strenuously denied. She did sue Prince Andrew for sexual abuse in August 2021, and he reached an out-of-court settlement with her in 2022. Giuffre was one of the most outspoken accusers of convicted sex offenders Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, his former girlfriend. Here she is speaking about her experiences in 2019.
I was recruited at a very young age from Mar-a-Lago and entrapped in a world that I didn't understand, and I've been fighting that very world to this day, and I won't stop fighting. I will never be silenced until these people are brought to justice.
So police in Western Australia say they were called to reports of an unresponsive woman at a residence just north of Perth last night. They said police in St John, Western Australia, attended and provided emergency first aid, but sadly the 41-year-old woman was declared dead at the scene. So Virginia Giuffre had lived in Australia for years as she'd become an advocate for sex trafficking survivors after she became the central figure, really, in the prolonged downfall of disgraced financier Epstein. And in a statement, her family say she was a fierce warrior in the fight against sexual abuse, but they added that the toll of that abuse became unbearable. Her death is being investigated by the Major Crimes Unit, but officers say at this stage it doesn't appear to be suspicious.
So no, she's committed suicide. They're saying she committed suicide. She spoke up about Prince Andrew and now she's dead. See you later.